Hello everyone, welcome back to another Doctor Who related video. In today's Doctor Who related video we're going to be taking a look at this lovely thing behind me, the TARDIS. But in particular the TARDIS console room / control room, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be tier listing all the control rooms that have appeared in the TV series, even film, and I think Flash animation as well. I think this has the Scream of the Shalka TARDIS console on this tier list as well. So we're covering all bases of TARDIS consoles as well. So this is very exciting. I'm a huge fan of the TARDIS. Whenever I see a police box, I'm like, I've got to have my photo next to it. And I've been very lucky to visit some of the TARDIS sets, especially the Moff era ones. So maybe there's a bit of bias with those, but I'm sure we'll get to why I love those TARDISes later on. Now, before we dive into this tier list, this is my opinion, so please do respect that. If your favourite TARDIS I put in the bottom category, I'm very sorry, this is just my opinion. So before we dive into this tier list, if you're new around here then please do consider subscribing, because there's plenty of Doctor Who related content on the channel. And if you enjoy this video then please do leave a like, because again, it helps me out and it's all good. So without further ado, let's begin and enter the TARDIS. Entered the TARDIS. So here we have our lovely tier list. So credit to @shades_geek. So thank you very much for the tier list. I will leave a link in the description below to this tier list so you can fill it out for yourself. And if you want to tag me on Twitter your results, I'll be very interested to know. See if we agree or disagree with this. So the categories are the finest ship to sail the vortex, which is a reference to Light at the End. You sexy thing, but it's an amazing TARDIS. It's nearly perfect. You have pretty good, which I guess is self-explanatory, but it's solid. Then we have okay, and then we have you've had this place redecorated. I don't like it. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. So we've got quite a wide variety of TARDIS console rooms here. So kicking off this tier list, we have the Peter Cushing TARDIS control room, console room. Yeah, take your pick. Now, it's very interesting, this one, because it doesn't feel like the TARDIS we all know and love. It very much has that sort of professor sort of vibe, that sort of mad scientist feel, I should say. And it's quite interesting to look at the Peter Cushing films and see how it's inspired the show, because you have these sort of computer banks within this sort of TARDIS, which were later used on sort of the series 7 part B TARDIS, all right to the end of the Capaldi years. So they sort of incorporated the sort of computer bank feel to it. And obviously I love the actual police box of the Peter Cushing one, but that's a different tier list. But for this, I'm gonna say it's not. I feel bad putting it here, but it's not the TARDIS we all know and love. You know, it's just a bit of a mess, and it's just one big lever, isn't it? And it's like, how do you steer it? How do you steer that? Yeah, for me, I like what it's going for. I like the sort of outer police box, which I guess is inspired by sort of the Jodie sort of feel to it. But yeah, so it's all right. Yeah, it's not the TARDIS we all know and love, really. It's a bit of a mess, really. And then we have the Monk's TARDIS, which is just, I guess, a shrunken down version of the Hartnell one. It's okay. There's not much you can say. It's the original one. It's just the first Doctor TARDIS console room, which, you know, spoilers, I adore. But yeah, there's not really much you can say. It's just alright, it's okay. And then we have the series 5 to 7A TARDIS. Now, it did get a little bit of an overhaul as the series went on, and I really like it. I think that it's a nice progression of the organic TARDIS. I like the use of levels to it. I think that it brings back the buttons and switches. You know, it's very much a cobbled together TARDIS. You know, with like the taps and like the keyboard. I love the scanner, which is very reminiscent to the TV movie. But yeah, I've got a soft spot for this one. I like the atom accelerator, that little spinny dial thing, and I really like this sort of blown glass TARDIS console column time rotor, and it brings back the 1960s sort of lights at the top, which I think is great. I do like this sort of scale, because I think it really starts to explore with sort of the vast nature of the TARDIS. So for me, it's you sexy thing. I really like it. I think that might be a bit of a hot take, but I'm a fan of it, really. This is a bit of an interesting one. This shows how detailed this tier list is. We have the two Doctors. We start with the two Doctors with the second Doctor and Jamie. You could say season 6B if you want, or you could say the Black Hole, because that sort of debunks season 6B. And well, it's actually the monk's TARDIS, isn't it, really, in the black hole from memory. So yeah, this is, again, it's basically the season 20 TARDIS, just put out of storage and thought we'd put it there. It doesn't really match. It's okay, it's alright. Yeah, it's just got a black and white filter to it, and it just feels a bit wrong, to be honest, the second Doctor having it. Next up, I believe this TARDIS is from the End of the Timeless Children, which we see the Doctor get away and obviously becomes a house in Revolution of the Daleks. Again, it sort of has elements of the Joe Martin TARDIS. I think that it's pretty good. I'm a big fan of that TARDIS console. But yeah, it's pretty good. I enjoy it. I like it. It does feel very classic in its feel to it. But I think the next one is the Scream of a Shalka one, with this sort of grand. I could be wrong. I mean, I'm just going to put it in okay. There's not much I can say about it. It just looks a bit empty, to be honest. Actually, no, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to put it in. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. It just looks a bit empty. I mean, it has this nice sort of vast space to it, but not for me. Next up, we have the Time Monster. This is the first entry from the Time Monster on this tier list. It is the Master's TARDIS, which it has the washing up bowls, which I don't mind. I think they're all right. But this one, it removes the nice time rotor, and the Master's time rotor looks like a chocolate, you know, fondant fountain, but without the chocolate. It just looks a bit bizarre. Yeah, it just doesn't look right personally, so I'm going to put it in the bottom tier. Really, it's a weird mishmash. Next up, we have the Junkyard TARDIS, which again, Blue Peter competition winner. I think that it's okay. I like the sort of cobbled together nature to it. I like the round doors. I think that the time rotor is quite cool, and the shaving mirror is a nice nod back to the secondary console room. But yeah, it's just a nice small TARDIS set, which again, it's okay. It's alright. Not bad. Then we have the secondary console room, which I love everything about this TARDIS console room, except the actual console room. I think the actual console is quite diddy. It's just all buttons, which I like a TARDIS with a load of buttons, but the lack of a time rotor just makes it feel really bizarre and odd, and it just makes you feel a bit like, oh, that doesn't seem right. So yeah, I like, I feel like the roundels would suit very much for TV movie TARDIS, but I like the addition of sort of the shaving mirror. That would have been cool if that was a time rotor, but no. So for me, it's okay, which I don't know if that's a hot take. I just think that it looks a bit bland in a way, really. And then we have the Master's TARDIS from Colony in Space. We've just got these big red doors, really. I think that's the only real variation to it. I guess they suit the Master's personality, red for evil. Again, it's just okay. I mean, most of this series is okay at the minute. Then we have the Silenced TARDIS from the Lodger, and I guess the Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon. I like the sort of time rotor feel to it, and I like sort of the panel detail, but again, it looks a bit bare and empty, and it's like, how do you control it? Is it sort of telepathically? I don't know, but I like the idea of it, but it just doesn't feel very TARDIS-y. Because it's just got sort of a triangular sort of panels, really, but it's okay, really. And then we have the Master's TARDIS from Keeper of Draken. There's not much you can say about it, and I'm trying to remember it from screen, so I don't have any strong hate towards it. I guess I'm going to put it in. I don't really like it in a way. I can't really remember it, so I think that's a testament to the design. I don't know, I feel like that's a bit harsh. Then we have Professor Chronotis's TARDIS from Sharda. This, I like the homely feel to it. I feel like the homely vibe has been adopted better in like the TV movie and the Capaldi TARDIS. And I think that this is just like a sort of a panel, isn't it? Which again, it sort of has that Peter Cushing feel to it in a way. So I guess it's wrong to say I don't like it, but I don't think it's okay. I'm just going to put it in bottom tier. For now. Actually, no, I feel like I'm being harsh. I like the sort of cosy feel to it, and plus it's one of the old original TARDISes, so I can't really knock it too much, to be honest. And then we have a TARDIS which is perfect, the first ever TARDIS I love this one. I love the 1960s TARDIS console room. It just feels very otherworldly. It just feels so magical, and this has this lovely feel to it. I think that it has that sort of futuristic sci-fi feel to it. It is a magnificent bit of set design, really, and that TARDIS console is superb. I really do adore it. So yeah, this is very cool. I do like this 60s TARDIS. It's a superior TARDIS. As you can see, it's top of the tier at the minute. Then we have the Omega TARDIS. No strong feelings towards it. It's got, again, a nice sort of a red tinge to it. I guess it makes it look a bit alien with sort of the greenish roundels. But yeah, I can't remember much about Arc Infinity, to be honest. Then we have the TV movie TARDIS, which, you know, you say your thing. I like the sort of cosy home feel to it. It has that nice sort of Victorian Gothic feel to it, which again I think would suit Tom's Doctor brilliantly. I love sort of the cast iron sort of pillar supports, you know, which feels very new series with what you get with the Eccleston TARDIS. And yeah, I like it, but it feels like a TARDIS lived in, but I feel like those candles are a bit of a health and safety nightmare, because, you know, the TARDIS likes to crash around a bit, and, you know, that set could easily be set on fire with all those candles. But I like this sort of the cosy nature of it. Like I say, it sort of builds on what Chronotis' TARDIS is. And then we have the Tom Baker sort of TARDIS, which I think that's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like it. It's a bit smaller than I think the season 21, and season 15, I think, or maybe, yeah, I think this is season 15. So I do like that. It's got the nice sort of flash of colour. Yeah, I do like that one. It's pretty good. Then we have the main 80s TARDIS, which again, I think it's just wonderfully 80s. A lot of buttons, a few levers. It's sort of that sort of up there with like the quintessential TARDIS, really. It's a nice design. I like this configuration of the walls with like the scanner towards the end. I like it. I think that it is a nice sort of TARDIS. And then another TARDIS I like, the Planet of the Daleks TARDIS. That's got to go in. Pretty sexy thing, because I love Planet of the Daleks, and it's a third Doctor TARDIS, and it's a good one. I like this sort of time rotor within this, and I think we first see it in the Three Doctors, which is down there, which we'll cover in a minute, and I like the configuration of it. And then we have the Rani's TARDIS, which I think I like what it's going for. I like what it's going for, so I feel like it's pretty good. I like the time rotor. It's that sort of unique, interesting design within it. I think that it's very good, very good. And then we have the Masters TARDIS. I guess this is from Planet of Fire. It's basically I guess it's the same for Ultimate Foe as well, isn't it, really? It's just the TARDIS console with some black walls. Nothing too major. It's okay. Yeah, obviously on this tier list, I think it's the best Master TARDIS at the minute. And then we have the Rani's TARDIS, very much the same category as the Masters one. It's just similar. I feel like it's a bit of a downgrade compared to the Mark of the Rani one. Then we have Curse of the Fatal Death. Again, it's got that nice sort of 60s control room, that sort of green sort of feel. It feels very new series in a way, with that sort of green colour, how it's lit. Again, I'm going to put it in okay, really. I think that's the Masters TARDIS as well from that. And then we have the Three Doctors TARDIS, which I like. I like the configuration of the walls within this, and it's a nice console room. So again, I think I'm gonna put it up. I'm gonna put it below, actually. I think no. I'm gonna put it there. I think that it's a solid one. I think it's the best configuration of the Pertwee TARDIS. I really do like that one. Then we have the Eccleston and Tennant TARDIS. Now, this is the TARDIS console room of my childhood, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not too big of a fan of it, really. I think as a kid I love it, and it's a great toy. But I think Series 1, it's at its best because it's dimly lit, it has that nice grungy look to it. But when it gets to Tennant, it becomes lighter and lighter, and it just looks a bit more cheaper. You know, the thing I don't like is it doesn't really have buttons. I like buttons, really, and levers, and it has a few of those, but it's all sort of cobbled together, which, you know, I like the Smith TARDIS, and I think the Smith TARDIS does it at its best. I'm going to say it's pretty good. I don't know if that's a hot take. I like the time rotor and everything, but it just feels... I just don't really like the organic sort of feel to it, really, but it's grown, that sort of coral look to it. Again, we have the Cushing from the Cushing TARDIS from the first film. Again, I'm going to put it on the bottom tier. I think that the Invasion of Earth one's better because it feels a bit more cleaner and crisp compared to the first film one, because it's got more wires and it looks a bit health and safety nightmare. Then we have the Series 7 Part B TARDIS, which I've been on and I love it. It's got to be your sexy thing. I think that the Capaldi one, spoiler, is refined that design a lot better. I love this TARDIS a lot. It's one of my favourites, as you can see. It's just a beautiful bit of work by Michael Pickwood. Fantastic design. I really do like that. Then we have the Master's TARDIS, or O's TARDIS from Spyfall, I think that is. It's a shed, isn't it, really? A bit like Chronotis. I'm gonna put it there. I think that actually, yeah, I'm gonna put it there. I like the sort of the feel to it, but I don't feel like we get a proper look at it, to be honest. And then we have the War Doctor's TARDIS, which it fits the War Doctor's character in one aspect, but the War Doctor is very much a bridge between classic and New Who, with the roundels and the sort of Eccleston TARDIS console. I just don't think it suits the War Doctor's actual character. I think it should be a bit more dingy and dark, and I think it should be a bit more minimalist for the War Doctor, really. And I'm going to be honest, I don't like it. I really don't like this TARDIS console. It just feels like a weird blend, what just doesn't work together, to be honest. But a TARDIS I can really get behind is the 12th Doctor's TARDIS. I love how this has evolved. I think that it was pretty bob on with the second Matt Smith TARDIS, but I think they tweaked it and refined it and made it magical. This is probably my favourite TARDIS console room. I love the buttons and levers. When I went and visited that set, it was one of those ones where I just wanted to push every button, pull the levers and see the helicopter thing move. I think it's a gorgeous design, the levels. It looks like it's lived in, but it has that sort of lovely scientific feel to it. And it is just stunning. And it is just a piece of modern art. It is a tremendous TARDIS. I adore it a lot. I think that, yeah, it's just beautiful. And then we have a TARDIS, what's rather interesting, the Jodie one, which feels a bit of a downgrade compared to the Capaldi one. And I think that's what makes it sting a little bit. Again, I'm not a big fan of the sort of crystal, organic look. I think this is from Series 12, I think this one is. I think from the images, I think, yeah, Series 12 or Series 11. I think this is the Series 11 one, actually. Which so it hasn't been updated just yet, and I think that it's such a weird thing. The emitter, I like that it tries and sort of mimics the actual Jodie Whittaker's Sonic, but I just don't really like it, to be honest. I think that it looks a bit cluttered, to be honest. Yeah, it's not that great, to be honest. And then we have the lovely Hellbent TARDIS, which really suits Capaldi's Doctor. Capaldi really suits that sort of classic TARDIS. I feel like he'd suit the Joe Martin one as well, actually. So I think that that's pretty darn sexy. I love that. Yeah, I'm just a big fan of the 1960s console room. Sadly, the Monk's TARDIS doesn't get there because I didn't really get a proper look at it, to be honest. And there's no originality to the Monk's TARDIS. It's just, oh yeah, that's the Monk's TARDIS. Then we have the Joe Martin one, which I think it's top tier. I love it. I think it really suits Joe Martin's Doctor. I like that it's sort of been, it's an updated version of the Hellbent one, and I think that's really nice. I think that it is a stunning TARDIS. And then the final one, I guess this is the sort of Flux Series 12 TARDIS. I think that they've updated it a lot better. I think that they know how to film it better. I like the incorporation, I should mention about the Jodie TARDIS, but I like the actual police box being incorporated in the design, and I think that it has been refined a bit better and made it just looks a bit better as the series has gone on. But I find those sort of pillars, when they move and become like a pinball machine, it's bizarre. But yeah, there we go. That is my tier list for the TARDIS console room. Quite interesting, actually. I didn't expect it to be sort of bottom heavy in a way. Well, it's sort of balanced at the bottom, really. It's okay, pretty good. But yeah, you can see some of my favourite TARDISes there, which are the 1960s one, the Three Doctors one, the Capaldi and the Joe Martin one. So yeah, you can see a bit of a trend there. But yeah, that has been this video. I hope that you have enjoyed it. Please let me know your thoughts. What are your favourite TARDIS console rooms? I'll be very interested to know what your favourite and least favourite is. So yes, thank you everyone for watching this video. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time for more Doctor Who shenanigans. So thank you very much, and bye bye.